intro. All right, everyone, here we go. Jumping back over now. Welcome, welcome. Start this recording so I can send it out to you. You can watch it again if you need to miss something, if something gotta go. All right, share.
Summative steps, well, checkpoints, and then exams, and then.
Okay, oh my goodness. Move that. Gracious. Okay, I'm gonna have some questions at the end too, Q&A for you. So if I say some things and we wanna continue to talk about it, I will be available for that. So, okay, moving my face. So what I want to do today, in a short amount of time, I want to show you how you can position yourself to stand out, be different, so that you can choose the jobs that you want and how to make a huge difference without having to maybe go back to college or any of the things that you have felt. If you feel like you want more respect, you want these things, and you're like, I don't necessarily know, I don't want to go back to college, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. So we're going to talk about this new movement and how it can benefit everybody, like I said. So parents that I've come across recently, parents are more discerning than ever in who they're hiring, but they also don't know who to trust anymore. So people have trust issues, due to AI, and then they're being water hosed with information, some development information, and this and that. And I'm in a parent group now where it's a tongue tie babies group. I can't remember the exact name of it, but the amount of trauma and stress, like I've asked probably 5 people, where do you live? Because it's a national group. And I'm like, gosh, I just want to help these people. Um, but like the amount of trauma and stress that's going, it's like, oh, my baby had a tie release and now it's terrible. Oh, mine did fine, but it was after 3 months of this and that and screaming and this. There's just so much information, and then the amount of people who are putting, I feel like we were misled and we don't know what to do now. And it's not only with that, but so creating a new standard and filling a gap is where what my goal is. That is between caregiving and then clinical diagnosis. So there's a space in there. That's where we're landing today. And then if you fill that space, you will be the go-to there. Okay, this is going to be amazing. So the gap that I'm talking about, these are the people I'm speaking to today. Sorry. Oh, I do have educators. Okay. I was like, oh no. But parent educators, infant educators, the only reason it's you guys can benefit 100%. The one challenge that you may have is that you're in more of a facility type, but you still can stand out. And so take everything that I'm saying today and you can still use it. And then if you want to ask some questions that relate more to your situation, please do. So there's a gap between caregiving and clinical care. And what what I mean by that is that you're hired for a certain role, you're hired to solve a certain problem, and then other things come up. So let's give an example of someone I've worked with. Let me think. So I had one person who trained with me. So she, before she met me, anyway, she told me the story, and she was hired as an NCS, for example, and was in the family and do so what she was hired for. So the parent, this is where I'm going with this. The parent will have a lane that they see they need help with. Okay. So they found her, she did, her stuff online. I'm an NCS. So they hired her, they want a few nights of help per week. So that's what they're thinking that they're hiring her for. They want some help, they want sleep, they want the baby cared for, they want them, hopefully maybe they'll learn to sleep. How parents think sometimes in a few days they'll be like sleep trained. So her abilities, when some other things popped up, she noticed were very limited. Okay. So that's where I'm going with this in a personal experience from you guys. Feel free, add it in there. That's where I'm going with this. So she noticed the big issue um, between with the baby and the sleeping in the snoo. And we're not getting into the snoo today. That's another conversation. But she, the snoo is a sleep kind of a sleep aid, we call it. But anyway, when she tries to step out of the role that she was hired for to give suggestions, which she was correct, the mom couldn't hear it. She couldn't see it, she couldn't hear it. She actually got frustrated with the person that she hired to come in her home and help her, that was supposed to make her feel calmer, peace of mind, all of these things. It quickly flipped to another feeling about her. Whereas that's not really her fault. She was trying to be helpful, but that was not her role in the parent's eyes.
But.
So there's caregiving and then there's clinical care. And I think as a doula, it might be a different picture, a different story, but still can be similar. Okay, I work with some patients, babies, I shouldn't call them patients, but who have seen IBCLCs locally and PD chiros that everybody says are, great. And they trickle down and find me, that's what I want to change here. I want more of you out there doing this work. So they trickle down and find me, and I'm surprised that they've had any help. But they're like, yeah, we saw this person, and they're well known in town. And I'm like, then why are you still having these issues? They're like, well, that's a great question. I'm like, okay. So we work through it, and things change. But my role is different. I'm perceived differently, and so that's what we're doing here. So even if you have a few of these roles, a lot of times people who come to me, they're more than one of these things, and they wear different hats, but it's still all based on what the parent hired you for. So they hire based on an immediate need, and then that's like the scope box that you're kind of stuck in. So especially as a daycare teacher or infant teacher, you're, even if it's in the infant room, that is a really hard situation. I've been in those where you're going to try to step out of that role and say, I've noticed some development problems with your baby compared to the other babies or whatever. That usually doesn't go very well. It's a difficult conversation. Now I say stuck in just because, like, when you notice that something is challenging the baby, and then you're limited in the support that you can give. This is based on the parent's perception, and this can cause resentment on your part, feeling of like, why am I doing this? I should be farther along by now. So I want to ask you a simple question. I want to see if I'm on the right track. I really do. I want you to let me know. So drop this in the chat for me. In your roles that you're currently in, I don't know about your grandmother of 6 because that's different, but maybe you've had a role like this in the past. Let me know. In order to stand out and be more valued in my role, what are some things that you feel you need to work longer hours? I have a current student. She is so well trained. She's from another country. She's done this and that and all of these amazing things. And she is working, gosh, and she's older. She's older than me. How old is she? 60, 65, something like that. She's not a spring chicken, right? She doesn't have the energy. She's working, she tells me, 14-hour days. Okay. She's working 14-hour days, and she's with a wealthy family. She's being paid so, but she's working a lot of hours. Okay. So that's what she feels. She had to take this job with wealthy people, and her rate needs to be higher as well, but this is what she took. Okay. And we're working on that. But to be valued, she needed to take what they needed. So she's working all the time. Get a degree. That's hundreds of thousands of dollars. It always doesn't always transfer to what you want to do. So there's some other people that you just speak stronger to the parents. You need to tell them, I know what I'm doing, and you hired me, and this is what we're doing. And then they go with all the chats, and they're very frustrated because they're like, the parents don't want to listen to me. They don't take my advice. I don't know why, so it's a value. They're not valued. Okay. So let me know, are there any of these things that you feel you need to do this to stand out and be valued? Okay. Now, while some of these may be true, right? Getting a degree is not bad. I have quite a few of them. It's not that that's bad. And working hard is not bad. So while these may be true, if you had the tools that could clearly show parents why your guidance matters, would they trust you more? Yes or no? And maybe you don't have to do those big, huge things. Sorry, I'm checking the chat. I'm not spaced out.
Do you think I'm dating hungry now? Won't take time.
Okay. I just wanted to check in with you. I don't want to lose you here. Okay. So great. I got a couple yeses and I got a couple, yeah, confidence, definitely, definitely, definitely. So how do you get that? Right? The parents need a clear path. Okay. You need the tools to clearly show parents why your guidance matters, why you are to be trusted. Okay. Why you, with all of the information, they could pull up Instagram and find it. What is the difference here? What difference are you bringing? So this is just a different way to say it. All right. And if any of these resonate, let me know. We're gonna move forward real quick. You have a calling, you want to know how to monetize it better, right? Make more. You have this heart calling, right? You've got the heart to serve, but it's like those things I was saying, you don't feel like respected for it and fulfilled, especially newborn care specialists. I hear this a lot. And some by postpartum doulas because they feel a little limited in the role. They're like, I see this stuff with the infant, the mom, I'm here for the mom. It's a bit back and forth, right? Some people feel like, do you feel you should be further ahead in life by now? Like, why am I still doing this? But I really love babies. I really want to care for them, you know? Um, being overlooked or minimized. I have another student who recently joined. She, poor thing, she got fired because she thought she was speaking with, authority, being assertive with the things that she's like, I have a lot of experience with babies. Well, her way of saying that, the mom, I wound up actually speaking to the mom. We did this whole like intervention thing. I don't typically do that, but um the mom felt not unheard. Like the mom didn't feel heard or seen. And she's like, it was harder for me to have her in my home than doing it myself. And I'm a first time mom with a new baby. And she's like, so she fired her. So this person didn't want to feel overlooked. So, but she spoke her mind, but not in the right way. She was trying to make a bigger difference. And it didn't play out that way. All right. So earlier in my career, I'm going to connect this for you. I am a clinical pediatric physical therapist for over 20 years. I'm an educator before that, so I taught in schools. And then on my PT journey, I worked in schools, special ed, hospitals, rehab, outpatient. I was a manager of a clinic with speech and OT and in all of the pieces. And so I didn't think that I could change the system that I was in to make a bigger difference because you're in a role. So the same thing that I'm explaining to you, I felt this and I didn't know I had this bigger calling, but it came to me. It came, but it was a fact to me. It was a fact that I was just a part of the after story of all of these children that already had hard times, limitations, dysfunctions, stress, anxiety. I was just their after story. And it's not that this is a bad job to have, it's a great job. It's just, I didn't feel I could change that they already had whatever happened to them. And then they would come and whoever found me, I can help them as much as I can with whatever limitations that they show up with. I didn't think I could change that. I was just one person, had my little job, making my little salary, and people didn't show up. I actually didn't get paid, so I was like on a contract rate. And so I could have been there. So then I had a child, and she was like 2.5, 3, 4, and I'm like working all these hours. And I'm like, who am I helping? Anyway, it started to get a bigger feeling in here. I was like, how do I do this outside of my scope? Like my determined scope, right? I'm saying the same things to you today, but I'm a PT. This is what we do. We work in a hospital or a clinic and people come and they have problems and then we try to fix them. And so, however, I was determined apparently to figure out a better way for babies before they have these issues. So I want to take you just real quick into this moment when I felt something had to change. And then I was like, okay, apparently this is a calling, and apparently I'm going to be the one to change it. So I met a mom named Bethany, and she was the moment that I just was like, all right, fine. Her son and my son went to preschool together, but she'd been struggling, literally, I'm not making this up, Googling stuff, crying about her daughter, who was the younger one. I didn't know this, right? She wanted solutions, and we finally met, and one of the teachers introduced us or something, and she's like, yeah. Let's just do an eval, and I'll see what, I don't know if you can help anything or not. And we finally met, and I realized I could have changed her entire first 9 months with her baby. The Googling, and she goes, I don't know why. It says do these activities, do this. This is before Instagram was the giant beast that it is now. But she was like, I try these things, and she's crying. I'm crying. Why is this happening when I just want to have a happy baby and have a relationship? And she's like, bonding's so important, and we're crying, and she can't. So I was like, this is when things started to change for me. And I realized the issue wasn't that I couldn't help them, it was just that help was coming too late. It was like our systems are set up. So this is where the gap is that I have found. So I started to work in the first year. I got some private clients. I started looking for that, creating the baby's movement patterns as they were being developed. And I was like, I'm on to something here. So the little calling, the little vision just kind of kept going. And my husband's like, really? Can't you just get a regular job? It's like, where you go and you have income. And anyway, that's a little personal. But I flipped my thinking because I was like, I want to do this. Anyway, so the neuroplay method of development, that's where it stems. That's where it comes from, is creating the brain instead of trying to fix it later. Now, you might be thinking, yeah, but you're a PT and you're licensed and all that stuff. If you're thinking that, hold on, because we're going to talk about that. It's not a limitation. So I focused in the past few years on sharing this education and clinical experience with the people who are already in place to make the biggest difference, and that is you and people like you. You're already there. You already know babies. You already see things, right? You need the role that allows you to have early and ethical guidance within your scope. This changed everything for me, and that's why I'm here. These are some things that this method, working with for myself, working with people, and the students that are coming out, and just it's amazing. They love it. So it allowed a 6-month-old, literally the one who'd seen lactation in Cairo for months, to cuddle with her dad for the first time, which I didn't even know. That wasn't even on our goal sheet. She just, once it happened, she goes, it was amazing yesterday. She cuddled on her dad's chest, and he's like, I've never been able to do this. So that's something that, if any of your roles that you mentioned, you might not be hired for that, right? You won't be hired for that. That could be a private stress. That could be something that's going on. I have met a lot of caregivers like you that can change babies' futures that I would have never met these babies. They would have gone on with whatever movement patterns, whatever stress, whatever anxiety is created, which is created at the beginning. Your patterns, Dr. Bruce Perry and Oprah have a book. The patterns, I teach about this in one of my trainings, for stress and anxiety, not just anxiety, but stress and learning, and how stress affects your learning, like functioning in a classroom, etc. It's created in the first few months of life. Whereas a lot of parents think that that time of life is they're just hanging out. They need to just suck on something to be calmed. And, let's try to get this sleep going as fast as possible because I'm tired and things like that. Well, apparently the very foundations of later on how people deal with stress. So you have overeating later in life, you have depression, you have alcohol, drugs, suicide, like all these big things. Not that it's determined at birth, but your way of, it's like if you have chaos in your life, that's being learned, basically. So Point of the story is that babies that I would never have met over here in Katy, Texas, in my little job doing my thing, they would have never had anyone if I hadn't met these caregivers like you. See what else is important here. Yeah, and then the last one, I will take about the last one. Allow that 9-month-old that I mentioned to go on and excel in her gymnastics classes with her typically functioning peers, not in a special class, not in special education. So that was huge. I see her Instagram posts. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the neuroplay framework so you can learn a little bit. So I was going to write on my board, but then I don't know if you can hear me. So we're going to try this. Let me know if you can hear me okay when I turn this way. And I want to know where you are. I want to know, are you excited about this? Is this like sparking new brain connections in your brain? Are you having thoughts of, wait a minute, could I implement this? Could I do more in my job? Please share. I'd love to hear it. And we'll be here at the end too. Awesome. So. So open communication, reminder, we're going to come back to that. I see someone said that. Yeah, for sure. The teachers, for sure, the teachers are viewed in a certain way. For sure. Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Awesome. I'm excited too. I'm excited to share this with y'all. Okay, so the structure, you need the first part of the method that I've come up with is a structure for the play with babies and a sequence. And so it should be repeatable so that the baby is getting everything to all of the systems that they need. So this can be done in many ways. You can create your own sequence, so people look on people they follow, right? It can be like, oh, this was a great exercise, or this was a great activity. I will do that with this baby today. It's like you might see something cool with the crawling track and be like, oh, that looks cool. So let's do that. The thing is, it's not repeatable all the time. And we don't know if that's what they need. Like, we don't know, like, are they doing that right? Is that like working their brain? Does their brain need something else? Because I don't know how much research you guys, have gotten into, but learning challenges later and learning abilities, let's say, come from the creation of the brain connections. The brain connections come from movement. So movement creates the abilities for their future learning. I'm not going to say ADD, but like their ability to be emotionally regulated. Movement plays roles, big roles in how all of this is connected here. It's not really a neuro lesson today, but so the structure and sequence of movements. Now, when I say movements, it's play with purpose. That's what I call it. Play with purpose is my word. So in the sequence, what it does is gives their brain and body the same repeatable thing. So their sensory systems getting involved, their motor system, their cognitive system, because we're building their language, because we're looking at them and we're talking to them, we're singing, we're doing all of those things, but it's repeatable. Okay, it's really important to have a structure for this. Okay. You can put together things you already like. I have created some sequences that move all the body parts together within the sequence. So depending on the age, and what's important for that baby at that age. So they need to turn their head fully both ways, because we don't diagnose. I talk about that later, but you don't want to diagnose. Oh, wait, I know what that is. That's torticollis. Don't say that. Don't ever say that. That's not your role. But your role is to have a play with purpose sequence that will get all of their systems the input that it needs. That's creating the actual structure of their brain. Okay. Now, 2 is an assessment. Now that sounds pretty formal, But what that means, and this is what sets you apart, knowing the neuroplay method, number 2 and number 3. Well, 4 also. But the big difference between looking up activities online and picking them out, no one teaches what if they don't work. No one shares that. What if you're doing this with your baby and you're doing the tummy time? You're doing the, I saw this, OT teaching a rolling activity. Okay, great. That is great. I teach that too. What if you're teaching this rolling activity and you're like, oh, this is great. I'm doing this. I got these new toys from, what is it called? I forget. These new expensive Montessori toys. We're sitting down, we're doing this, right? What if it doesn't work? What if the baby can't do it? What if she cries and screams? What if you get up and do dances and she still cries and screams? This is where the assessment and the adjusted connect come in. Okay. The assessment only means you know what that baby should and could be able to do when you're doing all the sequential great activities. I love Montessori. Not trying to down it. I'm trying to say, if you're doing all these things, the assessment is, how is this supposed to look? Okay, I'll give you a couple bullet points. Write this down. Is it symmetrical? Okay. Does each side feel the same? Does the baby tolerate the movement? Let me write this down here. So you are doing in your head, I'm doing a sequence and I'm assessing what's working, what's not working. Okay. Is everything symmetrical? Can the baby tolerate all the things? Does she like it? Tolerate? Is she smiling? Is she doing baby things? Right? Is she screaming, trying to push you away because she only wants to move a certain way? I've experienced all these things, that's why I'm saying them. Have you experienced that? Actually, yeah, tell me in the chat, what are some problems that you've experienced when trying to do some movements with a baby or young child, and you're like, I don't know why this is not working. What is wrong with them? I don't know what. They won't do something that you think is normal. Like, here's another one. Can they tolerate weight on their legs when you go to stand them up? That's another one. Can I put hold weight on their legs? It's another little like, okay, what's going on? Maybe it's too early to stand. Maybe it's not good for babies to stand. Let me go look that up. So you look it up, or the mom, whatever, like, let's go look this up, right? This is not building your authority, by the way, because you don't really know, but you're like, you don't want to do something wrong. I get it. Totally get it. So the assessment is the part of where you're doing the sequences and you're assessing for, oh, sorry, y'all can't even see my board. Did somebody tell me that and I didn't see it? Forgive me. I get carried away. Let me move a little closer. Okay. So number 3 is adjust and connect. Others see this than me anyway, I'm sure. All right. Now, this, no one teaches this either. Okay. This is reserved for medical professionals after diagnoses are made, after the parent has, been worrying for however long and talks to the pediatrician, or maybe they go to a chiropractor, either way, and they get maybe a referral. Okay, things are now bad enough for me, your doctor, to send you to someone who can probably help you. Now they are bad enough. I lived this life. This was my clinical world. So you get the referral. There's usually a wait list, not always, usually a wait list for where people like me, where I worked. when I wasn't on my own. Now I get to take people that I like whenever I want to see them. So it's great. Um, so then the parents on a wait list and then are like, should I find another place? I don't know who's qualified. Should I just try another professional? What's the difference in an OT and a PT? I don't know. Which one do I need to see? What's the problem? Doctor doesn't really know. Go get a call. Go get the evaluation. Okay, 6 months go. We all know, hopefully, how much develops in 6 months, how much was missed in 6 months. Okay. We talked about what happens just in the first couple months of their life. So this Adjust and Connect is not clinical, but it will set you apart, not only in any business and career goals that you have, but in the ability to impact the baby's life, which I know that's why you're drawn to this in the first place, like me. I was like, nope, gotta be a bigger way, gotta be a bigger way. Is this the easiest way? No, but we're doing it anyway. Okay. So Adjust and Connect basically means, okay, you did your mental assessment, right? You know what didn't feel right, what didn't look right. You're like, this baby won't stand up on her legs. Got to figure this out. Okay. Adjust and Connect. Well, let's do this one. It's a little easier. Her head won't turn to the right when I bring the toy as much as it turns to the left. So if you're using NeuroPlay method framework, you're going to know the baby is not going to experience her world on the right. The entire right side of her world is not going to be experienced as much as the left if she doesn't turn her head that way. Because that just sounds like a simple thing. It's not. If her head doesn't turn that way, her eyes don't go that way. So you have many, many eye muscles. So then you're missing out on that. Equals later vision issues. Equals later reading tracking issues. Equals later all kinds of other things. Okay. Do we say this to parents? I'm jumping ahead to number 4. No, we don't. We don't say, I noticed, please, as an infant teacher, I know, don't do this. They won't like you. I noticed she wasn't turning her head to the right. And this is really, really serious and important because this can lead to vision issues later and learning issues. That's not how we don't jump right in. So just hold back for a sec. Just a little bit. So Adjust and Connect, baby. So I was trying to explain to you why that's such a big deal. So whole right side of her world is kind of half iffy, right? What happens when a baby can't full range of motion for whatever reason to one side, so this right side, their arm kind of gets left out of the picture too. So now we have probably some tightness in the shoulder, and the arm typically will go down. And it will typically be kind of rotated in like this. And it will be, and these are things that you would notice and that you would know. So you know, using NeuroPlay framework, you're going to know, okay, this baby's not turning their head. You can do this at 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, so early. You do not need to do the whole, I'm not saying skip pediatricians. I'm not saying you're a healthcare provider. So there's my little disclaimer. What I'm saying is we don't have to wait. The way the system is she's not turning her head. Go ask your pediatrician. There's nothing I can do. I'm a newborn care specialist. I'm here for sleep training, or I'm a doula. I'm really here for the mom, or I'm an infant nanny. I'm just here, like I'm here to play and wash bottles. And we don't have to do that. Where then the pediatrician will look at the baby who's only maybe it's mild. Maybe the head goes left all the way. Maybe to the right, it goes like this. He's like, it's fine. Let's just wait and see. Then we go back to the scenario that I mentioned to you where the 6 months pass. Oh, wait, now it's bad enough. You can go get a referral. Okay. Adjust and Connect gives you a way to take what you saw in the assessment of the sequence, the movement sequences, and play with purpose to connect it. Okay. I use the word connect because, as I mentioned, all of this is creating the brain connections. They're being created. The right side, the left side, your corpus callosum in the middle. It's all being like this, crossed over, crossed over, crossed over. Oh, hey, how are you? Millions, millions, millions of connections. And when done, this is part of the framework as well. When done in a loving, nurturing way, the connections go on fire. When a baby is stressed, here, lay on tummy time, turn your head to the right. You've got to turn your head to the right. Put it over there, put it over there. Let's hold it for 20 seconds while she's crying. Okay, good. Whew, relax. Let's do it again in a minute. All right, ready? All right, here you go. Let's hold it. Baby's like, crying, right? That's not happy and nurturing and anything. That's like stressful, anxiety, cortisol, like all those things that build chaos in the brain. So back to my suggestions, my teachings here is you find something and then you play with purpose with the loving, nurturing way that you did the sequences in the first place. And it's all in play. It's not outside of your scope. Is this making sense? Drop a yes if it's making sense, drop a no if it's not, and drop your questions in there. Okay, let's see. See if I got any good question. All right, are you still excited and interested? Have I lost you? Hope not. Okay, awesome. Okay, so let me give you an example so we don't feel incomplete here. So he said, is it symmetrical? So the answer was no. Okay, so then was she tolerating going to that direction and smiling? Maybe tolerating, maybe not smiling, right? So let's go with a no. Hold, wait, or late. That was a different, so we'll leave that one out. So adjust and connect would be, we would change her environment to where, this is just an easy one, all of her interactions for the entire day would go to her right side. Now, I've said that sentence to many parents, and then unless I list out everything, which I'm going to, I still will show up and the baby would be in a high chair, for example, and they're still feeding the baby from the left side. So the baby's still turning their head to the left side. They're still in a swing, which is not helpful at all. And the little toys are on the left side. Okay. So when I say we want to reconnect that the baby can move her head to the right side, we're going to put all experiences on the right side. We're going to, y'all want to list some for me? What are some experiences the baby has throughout the day that can be on her right side without stressing her out, without forcing this head so she screams? Okay. Let's see if y'all have any ideas. If you don't, it's okay. I'll tell you. Tell you the answers. Okay. We have diaper change. Yes. And feeding. Yes. So breastfeeding has to be on both sides, but that's okay. Let me come back to that so I can ask a follow-up, Jill. Let me know that question again when we stop. Okay, so bottle, yeah. So sometimes you have to switch. So you see how you're thinking. You're thinking in that forward way. Okay, so this baby, if it was mild, will likely be able to turn to her right side. If her bottle feeding's from the left, so whichever, you'll notice when you hold a baby, they'll turn their head usually towards the parent, with a bottle. So you would want to look, oh wait, is the baby turned? If not, you got to switch sides. We just got to get over that it's a little uncomfortable. How do I do this the other way? Diaper change is great, especially, if you're on the side because they look at you and you're making all the nice, fun, happy faces, right? You're not. Parents are, parents need to be taught that a lot. Um, Napping, yeah, especially before they're moving themselves. Napping is a little harder because you want them to sleep. Uh, yeah, their toys, you go to that side. Their books, you read them to that side. If they're being spoon fed, you go to that side. All of that, yes, windows are perfect, so you can make them turn. I use that a lot in my sessions. Yes, I was hoping somebody would say that. Or switching their position in the bed. So you can, instead of always putting their head on one side, then you alternate where they sleep in the crib. So a lot of times that will work. Let me think. Let me think of something else. Do y'all have another question that I can follow up on this? Um, okay, I have one. So let me see if y'all had a question, but I have one I'm going to share. Okay, so remember I said that the baby who has the limitation in moving her head will likely have shoulder and arm difficult range of motion limitations as well. And that's not always noticed. People are like, oh, I know what torticollis is. That's her head. Let's do this. Okay. This next thing I'm gonna share right now, people might go like, oh, that's body work. I do talk about that in more detail, and we can talk about that in Q&A if we want, but what I know about, and I won't say every single chiropractor in the world because I don't know them all, but typically when chiropractors give and body work, which I'll include CSTs, typically they give more movement, they give more availability. So chiropractor will change, give more movement to the spine. So there's individual vertebrae, right? Then you have your sacrum, then so there's all the spinal nerves. So they'll say that that opens up the communication and that everything can now move. Okay. It is better. I've experienced it myself, right? You allowed things to be able to move. Here's what they all miss that you're not missing today. They don't reteach. We call it neuroeducation here. They don't neuro re-education. They don't show the baby's body with movement, which connects to the brain, how to properly do it. Same with a lip tie. Let's get all controversial. It's released and they give you exercises so the wound doesn't, the wound is good. If you don't retrain the mouth how to work, it doesn't know how, hence the frustrations. So in Chiro and CST, they allow CST, I don't know, some yes, some no. I don't. This is in conjunction. This is a missing piece. It's not instead of them. It's including. It's after. It's like if a Chiro moves, okay, you have free movement. That baby can see you as a neuroplay consultant or me, and I can teach the body how to use it. I'm going to show you the movement pattern with our play with purpose, with our sequence that will go, oh, this is now fun. This is now easy. This is the muscle you use. This one right here. Here's our sequence for today. So I was going to give you another example. So this girl who has limited range to the right, she likely has limited use of the right arm. It's probably tight. Tension is what a lot of people use. I use restriction, but so this is probably not fully moving. So in the sequences that I teach, every day, every wake time, if possible, we're including the arms, the shoulders, the hands, the trunk, the rib cage, the core, the hips, the legs. They're all getting included. So that girl who has the right arm, the shoulder, we're not assessing that. You don't need to diagnose that. You don't need to give the clinical like I would, but you're going to go, okay, in your sequence, we're going to lower your shoulder, we're going to bring your hands together in this way because they need to be facing each other. This little girl who we're talking about probably would bring her hand together facing down. And everybody would play patty cake because everybody knows how to play patty cake. And it's great for babies, but nobody tells you what happens if they can't do it right. This is where you step in. So this would come a little down. This would turn a little in. Then we're going to do our movement sequence with some stretching. We're going to give her the movement and the pattern that she needs, along with the active turning. And she's doing all of that without crying. So that was your next example. So let's see, how do I summarize all those words, right? Replacing the limited movement with a new limited movement with a new movement pattern with new and full movement. All right, tell me if that needs more clarification. Totally fine with that. All right. So that's the basics here, but another super important part where a lot of people who even know a lot of this, maybe not in this framework, the communication part, and that can get a little tricky. But I wanted to give you real quick before we end, we're about at time. You got to communicate for trust and respect. If you walk and you share about these things in an attempted clinical manner, you will likely be dismissed. The parent will feel almost like betrayed, like, what? Why is she saying this about my child? This is not her role, this is not her scope, and this is not every situation, but it happens a lot. So it has to be brought up in some specific ways. I do have some what do you call them? Scripts that I teach. But for today in our short hour together, I want to give you claim it. So we're not going to also, you won't want to challenge if the mom saw a pediatrician and they said nothing's wrong. You can't say, oh, well, that pediatrician's wrong. There goes your credibility. Can't do that. Especially if the mom believes the pediatrician. Okay, so you have to start saying, you write this down if you like it. I see, I feel, I observe. And then you add on in a way to elevate the child. So you don't say, I observe all these terrible problems with your child and I don't know how to fix them. So you probably want to go ask somebody else. I'm being a little bit flippant at the moment, but y'all are with me now. So I think you know what I'm saying. I saw Sarah having a really challenging time. She was really unhappy, trying to turn her head to the right. She was struggling. Can I show you a way to make her happier? Can I show you a way to make this easier for her? Can I show you a way to make her floor time, her tummy time more fun and enjoyable for her? Oh, yeah, of course. What parent's going to say no to that? Do y'all know any? I mean, I'm sure there are some, but right? That's the communication I want to leave with you for today. It goes a lot deeper, I'm sure you can imagine. But for today, I want to leave you with that. Let that marinate in there and see if you feel that that would create more trust and respect in your role. I've seen it with some people who graduated, and it does. Now, the final one, I'm not going to talk about too much, but I just want you to know that the final step is to refer when appropriate. So you know who does what, you know why they do it. And so when something is out of your scope, you know, okay, now it's time to send and why, so you can make an educated referral for the mom. You can save them stress and time and all of that. So I'm not saying you all of a sudden magically become a clinician and you can solve everything. Has this been valuable for you? Please go in the chat and let me know what is most valuable for you. What do you think you can use? This is super exciting stuff for me. And I want to know if this is valuable for you and for all the different ways that you all are in the world working. I feel like I should have some Jeopardy music. Yeah. The perceptions, right? Perception is truth. They perceive something, um, then that's the truth. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Now, this was only 1 hour, as we know. I think we're like almost at an hour, but I love taking this time with you. But I want to know how many of you, if you feel that we had one day, I'm actually teaching live and I'm breaking down the foundations of the neuroplay method framework. So it's a new for this year. I already have taught it and it's in a membership site, with videos and all of that. But if you want to join me for one, it's not even going to be a full day. I got to time it out exactly. Live like this, I'm going to teach the Neuroplay Foundations course. So it is typically a 8 weeks. It's typically 8 weeks. And you get the video, and which is great. I'm not downplaying my force, right? But in real life, this is like way better. Like it comes, and I have not done this yet. This will be my first time, and so, yeah, I understand. We'll get to that, Jill. We can work something out if it's a group as well. We can, yeah, we can talk about that personally. So I've not offered it like this since I first created it and just taught it for the first time. So I'm going to do live, and then including in that, you would still get all of the online coursework. So here's how this breaks down for the foundations. And it'll be a 1 day training, live stream like this. This is a new bonus. It's the entire foundations program. You get lifetime access. So you don't only get the live, you're going to get the membership site access, and you're going to get a one-on-one call with me, like a breakthrough how you can use this. If this is a group situation, we'll definitely customize for your group. So hang on to that thought. The foundations course builds developmental understanding from the bottom up. We got a basic neurology and what's happening, all the stuff that I talked about today, the shared language, how to use that, confidence, and I want, just a pause here. So all of this offered like separately would be a lot higher if we broke all these down, okay? But I priced this Neuroplay Foundations at $797 because it's really matters. And there are payment plans available if you need, let me know. It needs to be accessible for you, the professionals who are ready to step into a bigger role and not be like, gosh, I wish it was making a better difference. I'm tired of just like I had one, I'm tired of just washing bottles. I wish that I could help, more babies. And I've had almost 100% of my students start seeing babies during our coursework, right? Because you have to do some. They all come back and say that they are feeling things in these babies. The percentage is so high of these babies having difficulties, and nobody knows it. They're just going out and finding random people. No, this is not about, remember, not a diagnosed disability. Nobody has anything. They are going out to do their educational work to submit it so they can graduate, and they're all coming across things and they're bringing them back, and it's just amazing. So if you're ready to kind of step into this without devaluing yourself and the responsibility and the amazing things you can bring, then I am here for you. If you're ready for this and we have the link here, you can sign up. I do have another offer for you that is also on special today. So that's the link for you. I can pop it in the chat. So the total, like if this was all broken up, it'd be about $2,500. Your investment to join is $797. And if you have a group, let's talk about that special because you'll have like more people coming at one time. I would love to serve your school if we can make that work because that's so many kids are going to come through there. So here's the full NeuroPlay consultant program. So this is the next step. If you're feeling like really, really called for this, I'm going to share, hopefully this works right now, my calendar link, and we can talk about this more and make sure it's a good fit for you and for me and where is my chat? Did it go away? Would somebody write in the chat? I think it'll make it pop up, like write yes or something like that for me. This last 6 months, thank you. Oh gosh. Okay, here's my calendar. All right, I'll share my calendar. This is a 6 months program, and you don't have to take 6 months, but the big thing is that you get 12 live mentorship and mastery calls. The last 4 weeks of the program is a mastermind where you're going to see the families. You have all of the handouts and the guide to take with you. You have the sequences, you have the checklist, you have all the things. You go do the sequences and then you check off. You have an assessment with all the questions that you ask the parents. You have the way to write up your plan and your recommendations. You have suggestions on what to charge. You have suggestions. I have a whole marketing thing of where to find these clients, how to start adding this into your current work. We go into all of that. Yeah, I know. Thank you. Here it is. Let me see if that works. No, I'll have to copy it again. You have all of that. So I'm going to drop the calendar link as soon as it lets me because it deleted, I guess, when I restarted. And if you are being called and you feel like that would be great for you, then book a call with me and we can talk about it related to your goals and your business and see if it's a good fit. Okay, apparently that's going to have to wait 1 second. Okay. Computer is really tired today. So just a reminder, this is your foundations, which will be taught live. Nope, it's not 3 days. My bad. It is 1 day live stream access and it's $797. And I do have payment plan. And thank you so much, regardless of whether you jump in right now at this discounted price or not. I thank you for being here. I love the opportunity to teach this to new people and to share so that more babies around the world get elevated and also you in your career. I really feel passionate about the success for everyone being elevated, you as well as the families and babies. So stepping into a more appreciated role, not being dismissed, being valued. All right. Thank you so much. And I am here for any questions about anything that you think I can answer. And let me go one more time and try this. Let me close the windows and see if it'll open up my calendar real quick. I want you guys to be able to have that. There we go. And unmute yourself if you have a question. I'm okay with that. Yeah, gotcha, coming right up. And if there's no time that you like, because I did not go adjust, I don't know what it says right now exactly. Email me if it doesn't look like there's something that fits what you need. Yeah, here it is. All right, anybody have a comment or a question? Oh, Anne, I'm sorry, I didn't see that. I think it worked out. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for being here. Come on, I know you guys are super experienced. I know you got some questions for me. Is it allowing you to unmute? Maybe it's not. Let me know. Even if you just have a comment, I'm okay with that too.
Thank you so much. This was amazing.
Oh, Anne, I can't hear you. Maybe you're muted.
Oh, no? Aw, man,
Let me see if you're muted. Hold on.
I unmuted.
And okay, try again. I just changed the setting.
Can you hear me?
Ah, there you are. It was
Thank you
it was,
so much. This was absolutely amazing. I learned so much.
oh, good. Good, good. What stands out the most to you?
I think it's just really interesting to use the sequence. Like there's certain things like I've had a kid with torticollis, and we used those PT exercises, but to have a standard amount of sequence, I'm not using the right words, but to have a standard sequence is really interesting.
Yeah, this is not PT-ish. It's not clinical.
Yeah,
That's why it's new.
that's cool. That's very
Yeah,
cool.
good. Thanks. Do you feel that like how do you feel when I said there's, you can make your own sequence and try it out or kind of learn what I've developed that gets all the systems. Like what do you feel because of your experience? Like is that something you're like I could put together or does that interest you to learn how they're put together already?
Oh yeah. I'm interested to learn how like your sequence that you put together. Um, just because like creating it is a little daunting. Like myself, like to be like, oh, I'm gonna create this. You know what I mean? Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, yeah. All right, thanks for sharing that. Um, yeah, I'm happy to talk to you if the whole consultant program seems like it works for you. Or who's the one who has the school? Is that you?
That is not me. I do NCS work.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I
Yeah,
think that's Jill.
yes. Jill was the, I'll have to she'll probably send a message later. Jill has the daycare. Yeah, because I have varying levels I can do for schools. I can do different levels of training. But yeah, do you feel like that's something you wanted to look into? Is the consultant program or the live foundations?
I think the live class is great. The price point, I have to think about, but I think it's amazing.
Tell me what are some goals for your or one goal for your own business or for your
I
own
think
goals?
just in general, the more I learn, the more I can help. Um, so I'm always love professional development. I like investing in classes. I just love learning, but I've
Yeah.
taken a lot of classes, so I'm like I have to
Yeah.
pace myself on when
Yeah.
I take it, if that makes sense.
Oh, it totally does. I've had some other people and I ask, do those take you through to how to integrate this into your work to where you can use it facing forward as a development consultant and charge more for it?
That's true. That's true. So the classes I have taken, yes, they have increased my income. I mean, that's not the reason why I take them per se. It's
Yeah.
helpful, but definitely, I feel my income has went up because of them.
Yeah, because this depends on what your goals. It is,
Hmm.
yeah. It it depends on what your goals are, right? So some people have, I want to increase my rate. I want to choose the families that I want. I want to be booked up more. I want to work less nights. So it just kind of depends. Do you have anything like that that you are trying to achieve for this year?
Sure. So I don't do nights anymore. I just work during the day. Um, so yeah, just noticing like when you said that the child wasn't with its arm, wasn't working just like the tightness on their left.
Yeah.
So just being able to notice that more would be helpful.
Yeah, so what I really want for my students is to be able to actually have a change in your life as well. So to be able to have the conversations that will elevate you, that will give one thing that I've heard is more like fulfillment
Hmm.
from their job because it's like adding on another level of abilities that you can impact the baby.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I am here. Questions, and I have the meeting link, and I whatever
Awesome.
whatever you need. If you want to think about it, let me know. I'm going to teach it live later this month. I didn't put that on here because it'll come out in emails. It's the week of the 26th. So we got a couple
I'm-
weeks. Yeah.
Going to pop a link in for you. This is, I don't know if you're familiar with the NCSA.
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah.
Have you
I
talked to
actually-
them?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
it's
cool.
actually, you're gonna have, it's gonna be on the list of CEUs.
Amazing.
I don't know how to say, I always say that wrong. It's going to be on the list of recommended courses.
Amazing.
Which it was in the past, and then they have had a bunch of, like movement in there.
Yes.
Welcome in, Rosa. We're finishing up, but I'm happy to chat with you in a moment. Yeah, so I had a meeting with Jessica this week, actually, last
Yes.
week, and yeah, so we're reestablishing that. I'm gonna do a webinar and gonna get on the list, so then you'll get a discount, and it'll also be applied to your NCSA, whatever.
Amazing. Jessica's amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for being here. Hi, Rosa. Thanks for joining. Did you?
Hi, so I just got a invitation from a colleague that this training was at 12 p.m. I'm in Oregon on Pacific time. I did not realize that it was Central time.
Central
So,
Time.
yeah.
Well,
Uh,
did you just registered, obviously, because you got in here. So I am going to, I think I'm actually still recording. Let me,
it does say still recording, but will there be another training then, or is this recording being shared, or?